Good evening and welcome to another episode of Crowdpondent Central. I'm your host for this evening, Dean. I'm flying solo this evening because none of our other anchors could make it. If you want to become an anchor, please apply, send your CV in to this address, and we'll see how that goes. But today we're going to be dealing with quite a serious topic, sexual harassment. Now this has gained a lot of attention in the media lately thanks to a certain Hollywood mogul. It's gained a lot of traction on an online social media campaign, but this is nothing new. We've heard all this a million times already, so we want to get to the bottom of it. We want to figure out the causes, why it's so prevalent in some places and not others, and hopefully we can try and find a solution to this problem as well. So we're going to be speaking to some really interesting guests today to try and get to the bottom of this. So joining me today is Neil Henderson, the CEO of Safeline, a charity that helps victims of sexual abuse and harassment, Anna Keel, a documentary filmmaker, and Amanada Junay, who is a stay-at-home mother from the States. But to kick things off, I want to ask you a question, Neil. Why do you think sexual harassment is so prevalent? What are the causes behind it?
From our perspective, when we work with clients who have been abused and who have also suffered experienced sexual harassment, either at work or in other environments, it's all about power over people.
Okay.
And I think you're beginning to see that. The Harvey Weinstein is moving from movies where there's a real power issue there to the pop world this morning, and we already know it exists within the modelling world. And again, experience from our clients showing it works in the corporate world as well. So it tends to be a power-driven issue.
Okay, that's interesting. Anna, what do you make of this? Do you have any sort of differing opinions? Is it always about power?
Well, no, actually, I'm glad Neil mentioned that because I think it's all about power. I think it's about power relations between men and women.
Okay.
And one of the reasons I wanted to do this is because the Me Too campaign has actually made me quite angry. I think it's
Oh yeah. Don't worry, we're gonna get onto that. We're gonna get onto that.
But yeah, I do think it is about power relations, definitely.
Okay.
And I think that women and men can be collectively responsible. I know that's a controversial view, but I think there is a problem with women presenting themselves as fragile, vulnerable, scared creatures.
Okay, I see you nodding along there, Amanda. I assume you agree with this?
I couldn't agree more with her. I fully agree that this is a female-male issue. It's not just women that are victims, and that's why Me Too, that campaign, has also been making me a little angry too, because I've been seeing a lot of.
Well, I was hoping we could get a bit of a debate, but it seems like everyone's in a lot of agreement. Well, I mean, surely are there any other? Why is it that some people abuse their power and sexually harass where others don't? What are the differences there?
Are you asking me?
I don't know. Anyone who's willing to answer.
I would jump in to answer that. What I was going to say is my experience with men who were doing this because they wanted power, it usually resulted from them being self-conscious about something, whether it be their weight, whether it be their intelligence. It was something that they felt less about, and they felt like, well, if I overpower you and if I can take your body and if I can take your innocence, I feel smarter, stronger, skinnier, more attractive, kind of thing.
So insecurity is one of the underlying causes. Neil, do you have anything to add to that? Are there, why is it that some abuse their power in this way?
Well, as I say, again, I just like to emphasise, this isn't just male and female. There's a lot. We work. Safeline's a national helpline for male survivors of abuse, and there's a lot of male-on-male harassment as well.
Yeah.
So we need to emphasise this. It's not a one-way street.
Okay, so there's quite a lot of agreement on that. So let's move on to sort of how can we try and prevent this sort of behaviour then. Obviously, it's going to vary case by case, quite a big deal, but a lot of these sort of online campaigns have emerged. The hashtag #MeToo is one of the most recent. There's been many others, but you, Anna and Amanda, you both disagree with this campaign, right? But Anna, could you tell me why?
Okay, well, let's be clear first that we are talking about this happening in the developed Western world, where women can get a job, study, drive, open a bank account, own a property. And, it is, like Neil said, to do with power relations. But I think we need to look at the message that's being sent out with this Me Too campaign. What are we actually sending out to men with this? There's a lot of women talking about being scared into silence. There's women talking about being in a position where the man is more powerful than them. And there's a lot of asking men to please change their behaviour. Now, how many people really change their behaviour when they're asked? Normally they change it because they have to. So I think the message that the Me Too campaign is sending out is saying, I'm more scared, I'm more fragile, and I'm more vulnerable than you think. And I'm begging you to change your behaviour. What if, instead of listing all the times we were scared into silence or we felt scared and vulnerable, because we all feel scared into silence and vulnerable and fragile at times, men too. What if instead of listing all those negative things, we said, these are the things I have done and I will do again in response to sexual harassment. I, for example, pushed, shouted, laughed, called the police. What if we did that? What if we did that?
That's interesting. Sort of the more proactive measures. Obviously, I think a lot of the Me Too is about raising awareness of how widespread this problem is. But Amanda, you disagreed with the campaign as well, correct?
Yes, and for me, what I've been doing, because a lot of my friends, they just go on Facebook, Twitter, post a quick Me Too and leave it at that. For me, what I've been doing is I've been diving into my experiences and revealing that trauma to people and then telling people, I reported this to the police, no one did anything. I reported this to the campus, nobody did anything, because I want people to understand it's not that I'm just scared and running away. I'm actively trying to fight this situation, and the world just doesn't want to hear it.
Maybe quite a lot of women and men, of course, are genuinely, too scared to speak out about this, because obviously it takes quite a lot of courage to do that, but maybe others aren't quite as vocal as yourself.
Yeah, and that's something I'm also adding to my post is don't feel obligated to share your trauma if you're not ready. And if you don't feel comfortable reporting it, that's fine too. I completely understand, but you shouldn't just condemn a victim and say, well, did you report it? Did you say that somebody spiked your drink at the bar? Yes, people do report it and nothing happens.
Okay, so
Neil,
Anna mentioned instead of just having a passive campaign like Me Too, she said,
sort of more proactive measures. Do you what do you think could be done?
I agree. In an ideal world, being proactive and forcing people to change their behaviours is absolutely right. I'm a bit ambivalent about the Me Too. I think what it does do is it does raise awareness, and it raises awareness in a number of ways. It's beginning to show the extent of sexual harassment.
Yeah.
And that's important. One of the challenges we've got with sexual abuse is that people don't realise how prevalent it is in every community. It's estimated that 8 million women and 5 million men have been sexually abused. And then if you think about the families and friends that are affected by a loved one's abuse as well. And I have got no doubt, I actually come from the corporate world and I witnessed at first-hand sexual harassment in the workplace, and this is widespread. And I expect over the next few weeks to see it go from, the film industry to the pop industry, to modelling, to every walk of life. So there's part of me says I think it's good that people are beginning to talk out, and I find it interesting that it's taken something like this for people to have the courage to do it. I looked at a number of actresses, including Jane Fonda, who said she knew about it but didn't have the courage to come out and speak. And it took a lot of other people to have the guts to do it, to get other people. So I think there's some good in it, but I agree as well that it's not proactive, and it's not enough just to say, expose it. What needs to happen now is an awful lot more needs to be done to protect individuals in all walks of life. The issue for me is that there's already legislation in place that prevents this from happening, and if you believe that people aren't doing something about it, then there's a whole host of organisations you can go to get the help and support that you need.
But that again, this is still going and getting help is quite a passive approach. So you said you came from...
No, it's a least thing. I mean, it takes the utmost courage for somebody to admit
yeah,
that
yeah.
they've either been harassed or...
But we want to try and figure out, you know, is there sort of... you mentioned how in the workplace there was a culture almost of sexual harassment. How can we make it so it's not it's not up to the women to have to go or the men to go and get counselling? How do we stop it happening in the first place?
Well, you know, you need people, leaders in all walks of life who are going to believe that people that are being harassed have got a case. I mean, you know, as I say, the issue we find is that a lot of people will not talk about it for fear of not being believed, for being ashamed,
Okay.
or being humiliated. And that's very powerful. You know, it's very difficult if you've got a boss that holds power over your next promotion or your wage packet. So we need to put in place, you know, processes where people feel confident and that they'll be listened to. And you know, most of the things that organisations are doing from anonymous phone lines is, you know, it's having the will and the desire to actually do something about it. I mean, it's very simple, right? What's been missing from my perspective is the lack of desire to do anything about it, because it's a lot of hassle when somebody puts in a complaint like this.
Okay. I mean, I'm gonna pass it over to Anna now. I mean, do you have anything to add to that? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, the point I was making was more that it's about encouraging women to see that there are other women that speak out, and I really do think it does. You know, of course,
doesn't the Me Too campaign do that?
Sorry?
Doesn't the Me Too campaign help do that?
I think my problem with it is that they're speaking out about saying they were scared into silence. So I'm saying, what if we go back? You know, most people don't want to go back through their past and look at times they felt ashamed or scared or felt to speak up. But what if we do list times that we did speak up and say, I'm okay, this guy didn't fall in, didn't lose my job, and the man got caught. You know, I know that's an ideal world, but I think the more that men feel that there will be a comeuppance if they do something like this, the less they'll do it. So I think it's about being collectively responsible and not.
It's not a very likely outcome.
Can I just jump in here, please? Let's not make the misconception that it's just men. You know, women. We've got enough. We get a lot of clients here. There's a lot of women abuse and sexually harass and use their power. I think it's very dangerous when we talk about, you know, it being a women issue that only women are done unto, and that women, you know, men are the only perpetrators. That's one of the biggest issues we've experienced at Safeline. That, you know, a lot of the sexual abuse organisations in the past grew from a very feminist background, and men were seen to be the perpetrators of sexual abuse, and that's wrong. So I just think...
No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. But we
need to be careful of the language we're using.
Yeah, it's because...
It may be a smaller percentage, but females can sexually harass as much as men can harass as well. So I think we need to make it more gender neutral. It's about people who are being sexually harassed. Okay, now
I'm going to go over to Amanda now. So you're a mother, obviously, with children. I mean, what kind of changes would you hope to see in the world that they're going to have to grow up in and deal with this kind of stuff?
So one thing that I would like to see happen to kind of combat this, I don't know how it could be possible, but if a class could be introduced in 6th grade across the globe, where you have like role-playing scenarios of like, this is how the woman feels disrespected, this is how the man feels disrespected, to show children this is how you should interact, this is how you should compliment. You shouldn't get distracted by a girl in yoga pants and a tank top. Like, this is why that shouldn't offend you and why it shouldn't even be an issue, kind of thing. To teach adults and kids from like the age of 11, right when you're starting to hit puberty, this is how we should interact, because I think it comes down to we as a society don't respect one another.
No.
We don't respect ourselves. And then we wind up in these situations where we're vulnerable and we're victims. Like my husband, he has his own trauma being sexually abused and raped, and he's not allowed to talk about it because he's a man.
Okay. I mean, I think that's pretty much all we've got time for today. I mean, do you guys have any other last remarks, last thoughts?
people speaking out about it, and we need to educate people where to go to get the support they need, so that the perpetrators of these, issues are held to account. So, organisations like Safeline, organisations like Citizen Advice, we just need to let people know where they can go and get help, and know that they'll be trusted to get the support they need.
Yeah, we will put the details of Safeline. Yeah, I'm going to assume they're going to be on the screen now. If anyone watching needs to reach out to someone, they're your guys. Anna, any last remarks?
Just that I agree, speaking out is good, and the more that we can talk about it, the better. So to some extent, much as I've slated the Me Too campaign, that's got us here talking about it today, even though I feel it is a bit misguided. The more that it's talked about, the more that it's shown to be okay to talk about. I think the less people will do it.
Okay, and my colleagues have just pointed out to me that you're currently pregnant, Amanda. Is that correct?
Yes, I am.
Just want to say congratulations and best of luck with the baby. And thanks all you guys for coming on. It's been a real pleasure talking to you. So it seems like one of the main consensus from that debate was the fact the more we talk about this, the better. And it's all well and good posting it on your social media, but I want to get out and speak to people about it face to face. That's how we're really going to talk about this. So that's why we're here in South London on this very windy day.
Sexual advances that are unwanted, I guess? Yeah, not sure.
I mean, honestly, anything from freaking looking at someone the wrong way,
Any advances from a man, from a woman, that is unwanted.
Yeah, definitely. I think most girls my age or whatever have definitely been sexually harassed, whatever it is.
Oh God, yeah. Several times. My old boss, he really fancied me, and it was awful. I was waiting on, and he'd just come and feel my arse in the middle of a public place, and I'd be like, this is really uncomfortable. I don't know what to do. But because I was 16 and he was 30, massive. What was I supposed to do? So I just ended up quitting.
Yeah. So this is a previous job. This is years ago, actually. I was doing an internship. A friend of mine got assaulted by a member of staff. So yeah, it's happened. It's really unacceptable, but it's certainly commonplace.
I'm sorry, one of my friends was sexually harassing someone? I mean, I don't think they'd be my friend. Why would they? What?
I would actually put a stop to it if I was to see one of my friends do something like that. I would have to get involved. I would speak to him first. If he doesn't stop, then something's going down.
Fuck off and keep your hands to yourself.
Go fuck yourself. Apologies.
That's a tough one. I don't know. I think my shittiest experience, the dude that I would, talk to would be you're fucking sick. I genuinely can't. People who, I don't know. I guess we're a bit older now, so it's a bit alright, but as kids, that really irks me. You're sick, dude, if you have to harass a kid. Yeah, I can't.
I think he should reconsider being more respectful to one another, to other people, even if that person is just standing on the street. So he should reconsider personal boundaries, his and other people's as well.
Sorry that she didn't feel she could speak openly about it to more people, that it's taken something like a campaign like this Me Too hashtag to be able to speak about it. And yeah, I just generally sorry that, I don't know, her and other people like her, everyone just has to kind of deal with that shit in silence. It's fucking horrible. Sorry, am I allowed to swear? Of course. Sorry, yeah.
So we had a pretty productive day. A lot of people really opened up and gave their thoughts. It was a pretty interesting experience. Weirdly enough, it was actually quite hard to speak to people. A lot of people were just saying, no, don't want to speak to the camera. Obviously, they had very important things to be doing. Maybe they're a bit shy in front of the camera, but I still feel like there is an overarching obstacle there's still not the dialogue we were hoping for. What people spoke about was great, and we're definitely getting in the right direction, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. Thank you, Dean, for that report. It was very interesting, and you really captured the essence of the debate we had in the studio. But you keen viewers out there have probably noticed a slightly glaring omission on this episode of Crowd Pundit Central, and that's the fact we've not actually spoken to or confronted anyone who actually commits sexual harassment. Obviously, people are going to be reluctant to admit this on camera, but then why on earth do they think such behaviour is acceptable anyway? If you are watching this, and you do think sexual harassment's okay, maybe you don't realise you're doing it, but if you are, and you're doing it, please stop. It's horrendous behaviour, and you're really making the world a much worse place. So, please, for the sake of humanity, knock it off. But you're probably not going to change your ways because of what I'm saying or what anyone else is saying on this video. And you're probably not even watching this video if you don't care about the effects of sexual harassment. Let's keep the ball rolling on this one, guys. We've come a long way, but we need to do more. Of course, do the whole Me Too campaign thing, but I think we need to speak about it more openly than just writing a status on social media. Tell your friends and family about these sort of experiences, and don't feel ashamed about it, because it's not your fault. You shouldn't feel the shame. The person who did it, that's where the shame should lie. That's where the real disgrace is, not in you. So, make sure to speak about it to your friends and family, and comment below if you want to say, what would you say to the person who sexually harassed you? Or if you know someone who sexually harassed someone, what would you say to them now? Let's shift the blame from me, from not me. Let's shift the blame from it being the victim's fault, and let's put the emphasis on what a bad person who committed it is. So what would you say to them right now? Comment below. But thanks very much for watching, guys. This has been another episode of Crowd Pundit Central. As always, like it, favourite, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.